Today I'm going to talk about outer curve NuPattern toolkits and how they can be used to automate tedious tasks in Visual Studio. In this case, I'll show you how to use my visitor pattern toolkit to create the basics of an English sentence visitor. There's a link in the description below to my blog entry which will give you a better understanding of what my goals were with this toolkit. So to get started, I already have the visitor pattern toolkit installed, following the instructions in the blog entry link below. As you'll see on the left, we have a new pane called Solution Builder. We'll use this pane for seeing logical information about our solution. Think of the Solution Builder as holding a logical representation of the solution information, in this case as it relates to the visitor pattern, while Solution Explorer holds a concrete file representation of your project. So to get started, we're going to create an empty solution, and it's going to be called Solution 10, which is shown in our Solution Explorer. We're going to apply an instance of the Visitor Pattern Toolkit so we can manage our iVisitor interface and the various nodes in our tree structure. We don't actually have any of those in our tree yet, so let's get started. We go over to the Solution Builder pane. We'll click on the button with the little toolbox on it in the top left, the new Solution Element button. What we have here are a list of the different NuPattern toolkits you have installed. You could have toolkits for another pattern, such as the MVC pattern, but in this case we only have one, which is the Visitor Pattern Toolkit. We want to start implementing this, so we'll just use the default name and press OK. You'll see the Visitor Pattern Toolkit instance is added to the Solution Builder. It's important to note that depending on the pattern toolkit's design, you could have multiple instances of a pattern in your solution. This sample toolkit is really only designed to be applied once to a solution, though. Below our toolkit instance named Visitor Pattern 1, we have a projects element. Each project will be represented by an element below the projects element, so let's get started and create one. We'll call this project Sentence Library. Now that we added Sentence Library to our solution, we'll see there's a new child in our projects element called Sentence Library. We'll use that element for creating new visitable tree nodes in our Sentence Library project. We'll right-click on Sentence Library and go to Add, and then Class in the menu. We'll enter the name of our class, in this case Sentence, and press OK. You'll see that the sentence element is added to Solution Builder below the Sentence Library element. Let's add a noun element and verb element too. The question you may have is what kind of classes are being created in the Sentence Library. So let's look at the sentence class. As you can see, we have an accept method in our sentence class which will be used as part of the visitor pattern implementation. Just to be clear, you can add any additional properties or additional methods you'd like to modify your nodes. For example, let's add a text property of type string, which you may use for holding the text of your sentence or whatever use you'd like. You also notice the iVisitor symbol is red because it hasn't been added. So how do we do that? Just build the solution. As you can see, the iVisitor interface has been added to our sentence library. Looking in it, you'll see it contains the visit methods for our various different node types. What's cool about this is if you add a new node type, this will be updated with your next build. So to illustrate, let's create a new node called adjective. We'll run the build, and as you can see, iVisitor is updated. This is a very basic example of what an outer curve NuPattern toolkit can do. My next entry is going to discuss how the toolkit's created and how you can start creating your own.